Welcome back to the Corporate Rejects podcast, and welcome if this is your first time listening in. I am your show host, Amanda Davila, and I am excited to continue to provide support and empowerment through your journey to entrepreneurship. Welcome to the Corporate Rejects podcast. It's Amanda Davila, and I am here with the beautiful Claudia Micco, and I'm so excited to introduce her to you. She is an amazing woman in so many ways, but she is an entrepreneur, small business owner, and I'm so excited for you to learn about what she does. And I just know that you are going to find inspiration from her story. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. So Claudia, welcome to the show.
Aloha. How are you, Amanda, today?
I am great.
Lovely to see you. Oh, it's so good to see you, and welcome everybody to Hawaii, to my home here on Maui. So my story, oh my God. So do you want to hear the story or you want to hear about me first, or all together, because we can blend it together?
Well, do whatever.
Okay.
This is a corporate reject.
All right. Well, I'm going to get, that's right. And I am a corporate reject. So I've had my own businesses, many of them. I've been in the fitness business for 35 years. I started off as a aerobics instructor back in the Madonna days, and those days, literally, I have pictures to prove it in the videos.
I've seen some.
But she has. And I worked for corporate gyms. I used to manage 3 corporate gyms for Gold's, San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, and I also worked for Marin County for a while. So I have that experience in corporate, and then tourism experience and having my own business running a retreat center. But all the while, I've been a fitness instructor and a personal trainer. And then I was for 15 years at the Ritz-Carlton in Kapalua, running their gyms and also working in the spa, because I was also a massage therapist, and a spa girl, because I love all things spa. Literally, like I have my oils right here. So that's kind of my story. And then in 2016, I got really tired. I was like coming home crying from the Ritz. They had changed the upper management again, and had lost a few really great managers. I had a manager for a long time who let me just run with my crazy ideas, and they always were successful, right? And she really trusted my thinking. But then when that changed, they went and they did a bunch of things without my input, which was really hard for me, my ego, to take. But besides that, I just felt like it wasn't cool. So I was coming home crying all the time from work. And I finally just decided, I gotta do something. So of course, during that time, I had a private client outside of my regular business, because of course I have to work all the time because I'm single and I love working. So outside of my corporate job, I had another side business, and I met this guy, the sunglass guy, Maui Jim, sunglasses, if you wear sunglasses. And he was like, I know you hate your job. We're going on this trip. I'll pay you whatever you want, and you can be our trainer for him and his wife, and they have a little kid and have a private jet and all that kind of fun stuff. They would pay my expenses. They would pay all my things, and I'd go on, just be their personal trainer, and he would just set me up until, whatever, till I got my act together. Because quitting the Ritz-Carlton was a huge deal. You've got this 401k, you've got really great dental. You got everything. However, you have to give up your soul. Sometimes if you don't have the right upper management and you're stuck in that low place, you can't go anywhere. You can go as high as you want. And no matter how much anybody likes you, it's always somebody's decision who you don't know. All right. So anyway, that's my story. So Maui Jim came along, and I decided to jump off and go back into my own business again as a private trainer, and working with more like upper class, wealthy people. But also I work in trauma therapy, and I work with chronic injuries. So most of the time people who come to see me have had like everybody try to help them with their back or their neck or something. And then they're like, you should just try Claudia because she does a lot of different things. And maybe she can help you. So that's how I got back into business. And that's what I do now. Now I try to do it online, and that's not try. I'm doing it online. But pre-COVID, my life, am I talking too
No.
much? My life was crazy. People were coming here pre-COVID. So you think I'm in Hawaii, probably like the top wealthiest people come here. They stay at different hotels, but they also have second, third homes here. So because of that one connection with, Maui Jim, who's, the sunglass king, and I'm always grateful to him. And I tell him often, um, that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have taken that jump. And of course, seeing this, person who's gazillionaire did it all by himself, not by himself, but we have to have a team. So I decided to take that jump, and COVID hit, and having all that fun and all these people coming from all over the world, it just stopped, went like this. And in March, I took my last trip. I was also traveling, by the way. I didn't tell you that part. I also traveled for another fitness company all over the world, training instructors in yoga and therapy and fitness. So I was in Asia 4 times last year, in Australia, and for the years prior. So I just had this whole year planned out. I've got I got my friends that I see, in all the countries that I go to. And it just went, I know she's laughing, but it's true. And but I was so upset. So I went down, but I didn't go down far. I went down for about 2 weeks, and then magically I got a phone call from Lawrence Biscontini, who's also a mentor of mine, asked me to be on his Zoom show, which was, I was like, Zoom. The last thing I remember Zoom was, like my friend Tanya and I talk about, is it was the TV show for kids. So I went on the Zoom, and he got me interested in this online thing, and I was rejecting it in March, 2 weeks after the thing. By April, I had a couple clients from Canada who weren't coming. They said, "Hey, do you want to?" And they're like 75 and 81, and they're rocking and rolling. And then I met Amanda, and I got help in the online, and I'm doing it, and I'm making a lot of mistakes all the time.
I love your story so much. I learned like so much more about you every time I talk to you. I just want to like keep talking to you. So yeah, it's incredible.
Okay.
Like you are honestly like the true corporate reject. You've done the corporate thing. You took it on to your own thing. You had a great setup. The pandemic happens. Like what the heck? And of course, like you're gonna have a downtime. Like anyone's gonna have at least to pause for a second and be like, what the heck? What am I gonna do now? And as someone like you who's worked directly with people your entire career and in something as intimate as fitness with with people's bodies, I can see that being really difficult to figure out like how do I go from doing this to
Hmm.
the online space? I can't see people. And I know a lot of people really get there.
Yes.
It makes I mean, I was there a few years ago when I was working as a nurse, had a newborn baby, and I wanted to be home with him, but I couldn't. Same thing. I was crying every day, hated my job, I was miserable, but I had no idea how I could move from being a nurse to move to the online space. But I figured it out because I had to, right? Like for me, that
Hmm.
like it was a like no questions asked, like I'm not leaving my infant anymore. Like I'm not doing
Right.
it.
And no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to save us. I'm going to have a dog coming over here right now in a second. This is the beauty of being a corporate reject. And my friend who is also a corporate reject is coming in actually. We're all corporate rejects right now. But
Woohoo!
you know what? It's a good thing. Here's the thing. I learned so much amazing stuff. I mean, I went through the Forbes training. Are you kidding me? Do you know how hard it is to get through like to get a company to put you through the Forbes training? It was invaluable. Everything I learned. And I worked at the Four Seasons too in Wailea as a therapist for quite a while. And it was another lovely, wonderful place to work. However, it's the same thing. You can only go to a certain place, but running your business and seeing like parts of it that you love and how you would do things, and then other parts where you're like, I'm going to sleep in today. So, or not, probably not. That's the other part. So it's these different trade-offs, right? Take that leap. But the online, and that's just being an entrepreneur pre-COVID, right? So now it's the rest of us who now we have to have something else to do. and we still want to do what we love to do. Now, how do we take that and make that something that we can do online, if not part-time, full-time? You can have hybrids, you can have different ways to do it. I never thought about it. I rejected it completely for a long time. And check this out. Like in 2018, my friend, who is the founder of a personal training online association, the first certification ever, I like bought the certification and have the books, and I never took the test. I just like threw it to the side.
Yep.
It's still sitting there. It's out. I'd sleep with it, hoping that it's all going to go through. So yeah, but yeah. So what happened with this is I met Amanda, and I had been talking to a few of my friends about getting a virtual assistant. And just it's so overwhelming. I mean, sometimes when I think about it, to be honest with you, I get not that I wouldn't be honest with you, but anyway, I I get a little anxious sometimes about the thought of it. It gets a little overwhelming to think, oh, I get it. Yeah. But here's the fun part is you can make mistakes online in a different way than you would if you were in a studio filming, which I have videos that I made in I don't know, the 90s, 3 cameras. It cost $50,000. I can tell you how I was paying people back monthly, like $50 a month for years. So anyway, I have made a lot of mistakes. This filming like this is just great. And people don't care if you're in your living room. They don't care if you have a blooper.
No.
Bloopers are cool. I thought bloopers were cool back then, Amanda. So I'm starting to really warm up to the part of it where you can see people, like you get to see your friends, or people that you're working with that become your friends online, especially now during this time when really we're isolated and people are feeling really lonely and hopeless, or not hopeless, but maybe not as hopeful. It depends. There's a lot of variance into what people are feeling right now. And just adding another stressful event like, oh, I'm going to put my business online. For some people that could be, a tough step.
Yeah. So we all now know a little bit about your business and how you're doing it now online, which is incredible. Like you've made huge strides in the last few months. It's amazing to watch. So can you tell me a little bit about the structure? You mentioned, a couple mentors. So right now you are getting help from several different people in different ways. So can you kind of share with the audience who those people are, like what roles they play in your business, even though they're not there right with you or on your payroll as an employee? Like how are they helping you?
Oh God, it's like everybody, but not everybody, but my circle. So first off, in March, I got into Lawrence's mentoring group because it was a whole bunch of us fit trainers who kind of just the plug got pulled. And immediately we got our whole network of professionals together and we did a PSA. And it was called hashtag United Nations of Fitness, hashtag Fitness Works. And what that did is we took all the professionals and he did a PSA and then got the rest of us involved in a group. So we all started to learn from each other what to do, what not to do. So he became kind of the first one in my industry who was starting to see what was going to happen and how it was going to happen and what we were going to need to do to shine that light, so that we could all get going. So that was the first person that I met. And then I met you. She can tell you more. And I don't mind. Actually, I know, believe me, I beat myself up on my flaws more than anybody can. 3 drop boxes. I have no idea. So really, passwords. Claudia, did you change your password? I don't remember. So it's like that. So Amanda came along and I also had a really bad website and, I, through another friend, very good friend in LA, who's a makeup artist, to the stars. He hooked me up with his website, Best Girlfriend. And we had a little phone call and she said, she'll help me out with some stuff. And she's also a writer, and then Amanda. And so we're kind of having this little synergy now. So it's like, you guys are the 3 main people. And then I have my friend Corby who's here, and he's been helping me with a lot of other things, like with my TV, getting that set up, getting my computer. It really does take a village. And then Tanya, of course, I can't leave her out because she's the main one. That was already happening, I should say. Tanya was already there before Lawrence came along. My friend Tanya we're already doing this workshops. We just weren't doing it online. She got online. That's how I met Amanda. I should really have backtracked that story.
That's okay.
Ta-da! Tanya. Anyway, wherever she is, in Cyberland right now as well.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it happened. And that's where I'm at. I'm sure there, there's a few other people who are assisting me other places, but those are the main people that I'm bouncing ideas off because some of this is really new.
Yes. I have a couple of thoughts, as we all are trying to navigate through this pandemic and all the changes. And it's really easy to get hung up on the crappy part, all of the bad things, right? So to try to keep it positive, one thing I think of is, yes, it all sucks. And of course, we wish it never happened. But since it did and we can't change that, here we are. And you've made all of these amazing connections with people. You've built your bigger, which you already were good at doing, but you were able to connect with more and more, and you're making your business grow in your perfectly imperfect way, which we all are doing. If you try to do everything perfect and wait till it's perfect, you'll never do it. You'll never actually get anything out in the world. So that's like the first solution. Like, forget perfection, just start doing it, and it'll get better as we go. Like my podcast, like it'll get better as I go, just like everything.
Yes, exactly.
So the village part is really, I think
it's all about the intention behind it.
Yes. So it's beautiful. Like there's a good chance I might have never met you, if I hadn't somehow led to find Tanya, and then I saw you on there, and then I started talking to you, and I mean, it's amazing. I love it. But also, like, I
know it's so much fun. I love it too.
Kind of like, I think it's an old saying. I can't remember who first said it, but if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? Like, you always need to be connecting with people who are more advanced than you, that are higher up. No, I don't like to say higher up because that sounds like corporate, but that have already done it, who have more knowledge, because you're learning from them. It's not like a corporate structure.
Right.
So like when you met Lawrence.
Yeah. Why reinvent the wheel?
Right. Like you were mentoring with Lawrence because he had these other ideas that you hadn't thought of. And then you collaborated with that mentorship group, and you're amongst like-minded people who are doing similar things, but you have other people to learn from, and then you start learning with me and learning from Laura.
Yes.
It's that reminder that no matter where you're starting, there's always, going to be someone who is more advanced than you, that's done it better than you. But you have to start where you're at and just go at it and do it and move through all of that, messy, all the messiness, if you want to achieve your goals.
Right.
So I just really feel like you already were putting yourself out there before, you were in the right place, working at the Ritz and the Four Seasons. You were already working with people who inspired you and people that could help you move forward. So you've been doing it, but now you're doing it in an online world, and a little bit.
Well, right. And yes, I love it. And I love the online world, and I loved the other world too, in that I loved the idea of ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, which was the main, really, really important thing that I think a lot of the people who really got service and understood service really got that we are all in this together, and we're not this and that. We're not here and there. You may make, $10 million more than me, but you know what? We all are the same. And that's what that whole thing was about. And so I resonated with that right away with Ritz-Carlton, and early before Marriott took over, but, early, pre-Marriott, it was another standard, and you had to say certain things, but it was all positive. Like you said, it was always like, I felt like I could be better there. And so in my own business, it's a little trickier because you have to, you're in the shower, like, okay, I could really like go back to sleep, but no, because I want to work. because you end up getting to do the things that you really love to do more often than not.
Yes.
And in the online world now, what's so cool about this is, everybody is more connected. And everybody wants to help each other. And it's not a perfect, of course, it's not going to be perfect for a while. And what got me right away was I saw it early on in March. I said, this is going to be the future. The future is, in my business anyway, and most businesses, is hybrid or online, at least for a couple of years. So I just set my intention, Amanda, in that direction. So starting the online, but of course, yeah, it's, you have your trepidations about it, but, it wasn't as hard as far as like the product. I have something I know how to do. What was interesting, it wasn't what I thought I was going to end up doing. So that's where the other stuff came in. I had this one idea when I started, and now I'm doing the trauma sensitive fitness, and I'm doing the Hypnofitness, which is my brand or what I do, but it was never popular. So now suddenly, like people are interested in it. So that's another layer of it that I had to change. Like, I'm not going to just rah you with weights, which is super fun. And I love jumping around, but now I'm going to take it to a different level. So that was another great thing about going online that I just never would have thought about in the way that we're going to do it now, the way that we're getting ready to go.
Oh my gosh. So that like totally just brought something up for me, especially in this online entrepreneurial world. Why is that word so hard to say? Back when I worked with people in person in corporate settings, you would be able to make like your work friends, and then maybe you'd go out for a drink after work and connect with them, or you go hiking, or, working as a nurse, we a lot of times we do both. We go for a really good hike, and then we go get a drink after.
Right.
But when you come to the online world, regardless of the pandemic or not, if you don't put yourself out there to meet other people and connect, it can feel isolating because you feel like you're behind your computer all day. It's just you. So that's something that's really important. So even through the pandemic, humans are humans. Like, we need that connection.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not exactly the same online, but it's a heck of a lot better than having none. So that kind of brings me to part of being a business owner that surprised me the most. And that's the personal and professional development and how it embodies so much mentally, emotionally, and physically. And physically is where you really, really caught me, because when I met you, I was doing, the energy work. I was doing I was working through the mental and emotional stuff, but I didn't even realize at the time how important my physical body was to my overall being and confidence and moving my business forward. And then the trauma part of it, even though you and I haven't talked a ton about that, just making me realize how many old past traumas that I hadn't worked through or even realized. So I've been, in combination with hearing you talk about it, and then with my other energy worker, I've been working through a lot of those old traumas myself, which is not fun. It's painful and scary and messy, but it's opened me up in so many new ways. So pairing all of these pieces together is what has made it so I have been able to move forward in my business and really follow my dreams and goals. And I was able to get out of doing something I was doing that I was making good money at, but I wasn't loving. I was able to take that next step forward, and I have the confidence. And a lot of that comes from the physical part. Like, I feel it in my belly. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like that same kind of nervous, like, gut feeling. It's like I literally feel like a strength. And yes, my abs are getting better, mm-hmm. but like I feel that strength, and it's not just a physical thing. It's a full body, like, mental, emotional, and physical feeling. And that's come from the physical side. So when I was seeing you on Tanya's platform and I heard you mention HypnoFit, it just caught me. I was like, what is that? That sounds cool. Like, like I, of course, thought like, oh, you're going to hypnotize me, and then I'm going to like wake up and I'm going to be skinny,
Yeah.
That was my hope.
If it were that easy, I'd be rich. I'd be rich.
This episode is sponsored by the Corporate Departure Blueprint. This program teaches moms how to leave behind their corporate job and start an online business so they can stay home with their kids and work from home, work from anywhere. Go to amandadavilla.co/corporate-departure-training and grab my free training on how to ditch corporate and become a work-at-home mom. Like what I've learned in the last few months of working with you, and like just how my body and my whole being has transformed. And so I think that is something really important. So if you can speak a little more about that connection, specifically for business owners, so people that are visionaries and have those ideas and thoughts and goals, people that are motivated to do these things, but there's something lacking, something keeping them stuck. So can you speak a little bit on that?
I will. And I have, I have a lot of tricks. So I'll give you, I do have a lot of tricks. So what you're talking about, Amanda, and I'm happy we're kind of discussing this a little bit. So this area of the body, it's like 3 fingers below our navel. In, in our physiology, that is a fulcrum, right? That's where our center of gravity is, right? But in a lot of Eastern philosophy, that's where our base, of energetic power is, right? So just with the namaste behind you in your thing there, the namaste, the highest part of me sees the highest part of you and all that fun stuff. You take some of that more literally and apply it to business or apply it to life. You can look at that power center as one of those 7 and maybe 9 energy centers in the body. And this one in particular, right, is coming up from the pelvis, which is the kind of money center, right? Or the sex center, money, sex. And then we go right up to the power center, right? And then we have the heart, the communication, intuition, and higher power. So, but this is where in business, we have to really align, right, with ourselves and with others. And we connect with other people in business when not only that lines up, but maybe a heart energy lines up, or we communicate well with them, or we see the same visions as them, or we've had the same grounding experiences, or we're the same sex as them. They are a female, we're a female, we connect with females, or men. There's so many ways to look at it. But as far as the power part and then doing the physical stuff helps you gain control of your body. So that's that mastering, right? And you start to master your body, it gives you that confidence to master other things in your life. So I use that both ways, right? As well. Now I'm taking that, it's easy for me to do that because that's how I think. Now with HypnoFit, it's all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I'm not doing anything to anybody. You're doing it to yourself. And that's what, you start to realize as you do, and it can be any kind of exercise. It doesn't have to be with a hypnotic effect to it. But once you start to move, and if you can really relate this in not just a mechanical way, but also maybe in a more multi-dimensional sense, you can start to look at people differently and not just, us and them, or places where we align, places where we don't, but being okay with that. And so that's how I do physical, and that's how I try to do my business too, and deal with people as well.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to keep myself focused because I have so many questions. So do you have any certain resources, books, practices that you would highly recommend for anyone who is in the online space? And I
so many.
So many, but okay, so like maybe top 3. Like, what are your top 3 resources that you would recommend for people to start with?
So as far as incantations, or fitness, or or business, or both. Is that what you mean?
I mean, I see a connection.
Incantations. That was a joke.
But really,
okay, well, she knows that. We try to do everything with both ends. So reading, I do a lot. I love Joe Dispenza, and I try to relate everything to my work, right? So his recent work is work on placebo, and just look up placebo. You could relate placebo to your business, something you try that's tried and true that works versus something that you don't know you're getting. A lot of this for me has been throwing spaghetti at the wall. So using those mental techniques to step forward that's a resource for me. Business wise, I mean, I've had other businesses. I have luckily friends and businesses that I can get that kind of help from. But the trusting part of running your business, that's where I find those kind of mentors, or just listening to their audiobooks and things like that can give me some motivation. Now, on a spiritual level, I do this a lot. Okay, so I have to do this podcast. This is my incantation. Okay, I'm gonna do a podcast in a half an hour. What do I need to think about? Oh, the hermit. Find or be a mentor. Take a break from society. Commitment to your spiritual growth, and then I'll figure out how to make that. So sometimes it's an incantation. Sometimes it's a science-based podcast. I look at everybody in my industry as well, and I align with the people I feel that I have that alignment with. So it's in products as well. And I'm just trying to do it in this new way. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. I love it because there's so much. Like if you would have asked me when I started my business if I would have multiple decks of oracle cards all around,
right? I
around
know.
essential oils, CBD oil.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, can I show you one more? I'll show you one more thing. Now, this isn't it for injuries. This is a laser. So, and she probably knows I talk about this a lot. This is photon therapy. It's red light therapy. It's used a lot for sports injuries, animals, horses, medical industry. And I've had this for a long time. This is also part of, because you can't run a business if your body is effed up. You have to take care. People take better care of their cars than I'm getting on my soapbox now, but that's what happens. People take better care of their cars, right? And your body, and according to yoga theory, your body is designed obviously to get you around and to be a vehicle, but you want it to be as good of a vehicle as you can, as running as well as it can be. And I know you like to have some wine sometime, you guys out there. I get that. I mean, there's wine in here right now. Just kidding. This is water. It's early in the day. No, but I'm not kidding about it. It's all, it's all. I'm from New Jersey, by the way.
So it's all about balance. And I love that about you specifically, that you don't ever make me feel shameful or guilty about anything. You know that we're human. Like we're gonna go off the soapbox. We're gonna fall off. The wheels are gonna come off sometimes, and that's okay because I don't ever feel. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like I have to hide it or be shameful. And I love that. And I think one of the reasons I really wanted to bring you on here was to really make that connection between the business world, the body, the spiritual world, all of those things, because I can tell people, but until you hear it from more people, like, yes, this is
well, yes, you can be a conscious business person, and sometimes when you do it like that, though, it doesn't happen very quickly. You have to play the long game if you're going to do that, because that means sometimes you align and it doesn't work out, and sometimes it works out great, and sometimes things come back. And again, when you're in it for the long run, you never F up too much on the bottom, and you don't put your head too far at the top, right? And it goes into my Icarus tattoo, which is don't fly too high, don't fly too low, right? Because you have to do, to the best of your ability, try and stay in the middle, because things can change, and they do, and they will, and you can guarantee it. So be flexible.
Perfect example of that.
And that's a whole nother class. We can do that.
Yes. I think we all understand how important all of the different pieces are in being a business owner. So I meet a lot of business owners who have great businesses, products, services, whatever they're offering, but they're exhausted, run down, feeling burnt out, and they want to give up, or they feel like failures. And that's the message for today is, yes, most of it, like we've all been there. If you run a business, you've been there. There are lots and lots of different things to help you through that, lots of different people to help you through that. So find those resources. And it's so much easier now than ever because of the online world. So my next question for you is, I know you mentioned people can, if they're fitness instructors, you're doing fitness instructor training. How else can people work with you?
So they can work with me privately or in small groups. And you can go to my website at www.claudiamicco.com and you can see my offerings. I'll do a discovery call first, and then we can figure out what your individual needs are. So if you wanted to do something privately or something in a small group, which is what I really think would be fun for people who just maybe friends. I have like what I'm doing here is I have a gal who lives here in Maui, and then her best friend lives in New Jersey. And we all meet online and they do strength training and we do the 12-week, body part work and stuff like that. So it's really fun. And so I'm open to, those small groups and individuals who are interested in not just the one time. You have to do a little bit more. It can't be a one time thing because it's a little bit more, at least you got to go for a month at least.
Yes.
Because it does take a little time for you to really get it. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing well and really getting it so that I don't want my clients to be with me forever, although I think that's awesome. It has to be a situation that's sustainable, right? You have to be able to take care of your body. You can't be your thoughts 25 hours of the day. It has to be something where it becomes a natural habit. I want to eat well. I want to have strength so that I'm going to run my business. And remember, what you eat makes you feel right. And you look good or you feel good. That's more important. What you feel is really important. And I know the old saying is it's not how you feel, it's how you look. And maybe it was a little bit, but trust me, what you put inside of your car, just like you put gasoline or maybe you forgot to put oil in it, makes a big difference in how you feel. And you can see the effects of it tomorrow. What you eat today is how you feel tomorrow, or maybe in an hour in some cases. So I like to put that, I like to put that out there because those are small ways without you having to have me all the time there that you can get some benefit out of, doing a shorter term program. You do have to want to do kind of the whole thing, spiritual, mentally, and also the physical part. But my love is trying to figure out, what your physical thing is and then try to work with you on that, meet you where you are so that you're going to get the body you want and you're going to feel good as you get there. Yes. Don't wait to feel good. Yes. Don't wait to have a body that you like to feel good. Because trust me, a lot of times it's not going to happen right. You'll just boomerang that.
Yes. And that's exactly how I work with my clients. Like I meet them where they're at. So same thing, just a different, body part versus, or, your body versus like I meet you where you're at, and we work it out and we make it feel good and we make it enjoyable.
And you do.
That's what I love. So I love that like synergy there. Like we're working in different ways with people, but in that same like loving space. And I love it. So 2 last questions for you. Do you have any thoughts or words of wisdom or anything that you're just like you want to share before we end today?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well, I think because we're getting to the end of the year and I know it has been a lot of ups and downs for most people. So I think my only, not my only, but my main hope and constant meditation is that people really start to turn themselves back inward, and that not just inward though in a selfish way, inward so that they can be more helpful and of service outward, whether it's through this online work that we're doing or whether we get back into the world at some point where we're not, I don't know when that's going to happen, but in the meantime, we have to first has to start here. We have to think it first. If that means writing it down on a napkin right now and then put it under your pillow tonight and sleep on it, it takes that. We just have to start thinking that way and really offering that. How can I be of service in whatever way that I can with what I know? And that's my words of wisdom. And I really mean that, because we are going through it. People are going through it, and in a way they haven't before. And I am concerned for a lot of the world who has already suffered, and the people who've never felt that kind of suffering. I worry for them too. I worry for everybody. I worry for real all. I am from New Jersey. I worry.
I love it. I'm okay. So you are a freaking blast, and I want to end with that. Like, working with Claudia is like the most fun ever. I really like. I am.
That's why you have abs, because it's all laughing.
Yes, it doesn't feel horrible. Like, I will say I hate exercise. I don't like to think about exercise. I don't want to do it, but I get to see Claudia and I get to have fun and laugh, and my body's getting better.
Aww.
So it's amazing. And I love the idea of the group program, like the small group programs, because especially me being here in Maui and all of my friends and family are back on the mainland, like the thought of being able to like meet in a Zoom room and work out together, talk, all
Totally
laugh
fun.
together is
Yeah.
like so fun. And it's really good incentive to show up. Like, I have to have that accountability to show up. Like,
Yes, I am too. And that's how I got into, it was exercise classes that got me interested in physical therapy, but then exercise classes, aerobics, literally those aerobic classes. I was like, oh my God, that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. To Prince, Madonna, I'm in. So that was it. But it was the camaraderie. That's a huge factor in business. I mean, you have to have camaraderie in business, or your business is always going to be on the defense, and you're going to be worried about what everybody else is doing. You have to look at what other people are doing. As you know, we say, the old saying, keep your, enemies close, to that kind of thing. They're not really your enemies. They help you.
Yeah.
Give you information. And you know what? If you know what you're doing, you got your product, whatever that is, this stuff, you can get help. Believe it or not, you can get help. So that was the thing I didn't really get, that I totally get now, between, my friends who are helping me, through the good kindness of their heart, and my friends who I'm doing trades with, and, everybody else in between. So I'm very grateful.
Me as well. Oh, I love it. Okay, so because you are so much fun and you share like the funniest stuff and inspirational and beautiful things, where can people follow you online?
Easy. I'm trying to keep it really simple. And she knows, one button, things can go very wrong. But we're learning to love that. Claudia.Micco on Instagram. That's how simple it is. Just my name now. I'm just going with literally. And if I forget my name, then we're in big trouble on on the next interview. And then ClaudiaMicco.com. And my personal, I have 2 pages. I have a HypnoFit Maui page and a Claudia Micco Facebook page.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Yay, I love it. I love simple.
Do I need more? Do I need more?
Absolutely not. So I will definitely put all of your links attached to this. And
oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Definitely connect with Claudia if you have questions or want to get to know her better, want to start making your body feel good, and the full shebang.
I would love to, just really quick before we say goodbye, is just show your people where I am, just so you can see a couple. Can you see the palm trees? A little bit. No,
green.
Oh, no. A little bit. A little bit of green. I just wanted to share a little bit of the love from our island, because I know it's starting to get cold in other places, and we're hoping things will get
hopefully they can
back
come
on track.
Yeah, come and see us here. It's still in the 80s in November. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Mahalo, aloha, and namaste.
Aloha and kakakakakaka.
Kikakiaka. Good morning. It would be aloha, ahi ahi. Good evening, I think, or good afternoon. I forget which one that is. Ahi ahi. Aloha, ahi ahi. That's good evening.
Okay. Thank you.
Aloha. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening in. I am trying to reach as many moms as I can to help support and empower them in their journey. So if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave a 5-star review on my Apple podcast page. I know as busy women, entrepreneurs, and moms, our time is extremely limited and valuable. So to sweeten the deal, I am buying the next 10 5-star reviewers their next beverage at Starbucks. Instructions are in the show notes, and I am so grateful for you. I love supporting moms, and I love moms supporting moms. See you next time.